We begin with a quote by Swami Ram Tirtha. I am without form, without limit, beyond space, beyond time. I am in everything, everything is in me. I am the bliss of the universe. I am everything. The first meditation is called Samatha with support. I will cue you through it, and then we'll hit the 10-minute timer. With support means taking an object as that upon which the attention falls. In this case, the easiest object will be the breath, most specifically the breath located in the opening to one of the two nostrils. So just right now, check to see which nostril is more open. See where there's the most sensation. Go ahead and choose that more open nostril. And then select a spot that's especially sensate. The point of shamatha with support is, to the best of your ability, to maintain the attention on that spot throughout the course of these 10 minutes. Throughout the meditation, you'll feel greater relaxation, so open to the relaxation. The point is also to experience greater continuity, such that the attention continues to rest on that spot. Some teachers will say that there's about 70 to 80% attention on that spot or point, allowing for 20 to 30% of a kind of wide openness to experience. So you might hear wind chimes or a dog barking or footfalls. That's okay. Just return at that point to the attention on the spot. So again, shamatha with support. In this case, one last instruction might help. It would be good to keep your eyes open and relaxed. You can place them at about a 45-degree angle so that they're beginning to look at the floor with a kind of quietness or compassion. It's okay to blink the eyes now and again, no problem at all. This is not squinting, it's more like the softest possible gaze. And yet, that gaze is not spaced out. So we want to be very, very present, very awake throughout the course of this shamatha with support meditation. Okay, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, if you need to gently adjust your posture momentarily, feel free to do so. We turn to the second movement, building off of the first. This one is called Shamatha without support. This meditation will also be 10 minutes long. In this case, the idea is not to use any mental or physical object. Rather, we wish to be entirely awake to the sense of nowness. That will be our frame, as it were. The point at hand is to allow any experience to arise, yet also to allow all experiences to pass on by. When the eyes are open, the tendency might be to daydream or to space out. So the point at hand is to remain gently, yet very persistently awake to this sense of now. Be wide open. Okay. Resume your seated posture. Keep your eyes gently open, and let's begin. Okay, before we turn very logically so to the third movement, if you need to move, that's totally fine and legitimate. Feel free to move about a little bit before we settle back in. Only don't lose the sense of the thread. Remain in this space of nowness. Remain as this spaciousness. Okay, we come now to the main investigation, which is an investigation of the nature of thought. To begin this inquiry, allow any thought to arise. Observe the itinerary or course of the thought, and then say to yourself, "Gone," when it's gone. Again, allow any thought to arise. Observe the course of the thought, and then apply the label "gone," when indeed the thought has disappeared. In this part of our inquiry, it makes no difference whether the thought comes naturally, simply arising to us, or whether it is artificially induced. The point is to begin to observe the nature of thought and to apply the label "gone" when this thought is gone. Let us now deepen our inquiry by drawing a distinction between the impermanent nature of thought, what Buddhists call anicca, and something else. By something else, let us stipulate for the time being that I am witnessing awareness. Witnessing awareness, we will see, is not subject to the impermanent nature of thought. Therefore, in this part of the investigation, be witnessing awareness as you allow any thought whatsoever to arise, as you, witnessing awareness, Observe that thought, and as you witnessing awareness, label it gone when it's gone. In short, can you study the impermanent nature of any arising, perduring, and falling thought whatsoever? So far, I trust we now understand that any random thought whatsoever is by its very nature impermanent. We also should understand that witnessing awareness, insofar as it is observing this rising, perduring, and falling phenomenon, is not itself subject to impermanence. Let's take our inquiry one step further. We can do so by distinguishing between out in front and out and back, or back behind. Next, see that any thought, being impermanent, arises out in front, while you, witnessing awareness, remain back behind or out and back. Therefore, allow any thought to arise. Follow the thought during its course. Label it gone when it's gone, all while seeking to recognize that it is arising and coursing out in front, while you, witnessing awareness, remain out and back. Continue the inquiry on your own. Remember to be studious and diligent. Do not get lost in the fog of thoughts. Continue to investigate the out and frontedness of all thinking. Next, let us deepen this distinction between thought and non-thought. We can do so now by distinguishing between thought arising out of you and you as witnessing awareness in the mode or form of space. In other words, witnessing awareness that as you are now open, empty, welcoming space, while any rising thought is rising out of this space and going out and front and continuing until impermanently so it departs. Continue with gone, in this case, by remaining as witnessing spaciousness. Therefore, by now it should be clear that all thoughts are by their very nature impermanent, that all thoughts, so to speak, arise out in front, and that all thoughts can be said to rise out of a fundamental, spacious ground, a self-luminous spaciousness, a self-aware reality. It's time then to turn around, as it were, and investigate the investigator. Up to this point, we have stipulated that each of us, that all of us, that I am witnessing awareness. What is this witnessing awareness? What am I? Swami Ram Tirtha says, I am without form, without limit. Ask yourself now, am I without form? Or can I find any form in this spacious awareness? If I can find any form, is it not true that that form is arising in the form of a thought? Therefore, gone. Therefore, continue the inquiry. Am I formless? Swami Ram Tirtha says, I am without form, without limit. Ask yourself now, am I limitless? Or can I find some limit here or there or somewhere? In spacious awareness, is there any order, boundary, or limit to be found? Swami Ram Tirtha goes on to say, beyond space, beyond time. Start with time. Ask yourself now, am I this openness, this awareness, this aware beingness in time or beyond time? Am I in time or am I timeless? More concretely, can I somehow, as it were, find myself in time, in a punctual now, in some before, in some after? Is it clear to you that any proposal stating that I can be found in a before is simply appealing to thought in the form of memory? That any proposal according to which I am in some after is simply another thought in the form of a future state of affairs? Is it also clear that any proposal according to which I am a punctual now is also a thought, seeking to catch hold of a seemingly disparate moment? What if my true being were utterly timeless? Consider now the proposal that I am space, or that I am beyond space. When I go now and look for myself in space, do I find myself in a here, in a there? Or might it be true that I am spaceless? Is it clear right now that any attempt to locate myself in space is simply an appeal to a physical object or to a mental object? Ask yourself now, is it really true that I am some point of view, some point of reference? Or might it be true that I am not a point of view or any point of reference whatsoever? What if right now I were to give myself up completely, to surrender myself completely to I am everything? If you need to, before this fourth movement, to move your legs ever so slightly, or less so slightly, feel free to do so. All the while, maintain this profound yet simple openness to I am everything. The fourth movement, heart openness or emotional freedom. Eyes open or closed, either is fine. Simply right now, as it were, turn inward and be open to the arising of any emotion whatsoever. Sadness, fear, anxiety, nervousness, anger, and so on. Be very sensitive, opening to any emotion or feeling whatsoever. When any emotion arises, if one does, simply be with it welcomingly, nurturantly, without even a hint of judgment, without even a whiff of a desire for it to go anywhere. Put it differently, be the boundless, aware spaciousness in which any emotion can appear and can be welcomed without any judgment or involvement. Be wide open. Don't go anywhere. There may be a tendency now and again to wander off, given the lack of guardrails on this very open meditation. Gently resist any tendency to wander off, whether in the presence of an emotion or in its absence. Can any emotion be allowed to surface and to blossom open in this vast, gentle, spacious, compassionate being? Be like an energetic field in which a subtle or not so subtle vibration we call emotion is moving. Can you be this field without indulging in storytelling about the rising of this emotion? Or if the story arises, can that too disappear in the vast, empty space of awareness? Notice as this meditation naturally unfolds that there can be a greater sense of clarity or cleanliness or emotional openness or energetic resonance. Indeed, there can be a sense of brightness or vividness. Can you experience that vividness without grabbing a hold of that either? In other words, is it possible to allow whatever needs to allow whatever needs to arise without grabbing a hold of anything? That as well, maintaining a loosening of the grip on every single phenomenon. Some emotions can be quite sticky. Therefore, can you bring very gentle, heart open compassion to the presence of that sticky emotion? There can once again be a tendency to sidle or wander off, to daydream, to space out a bit, to become rather vague. The invitation here is to continue to be deeply, deeply awake to any phenomenon, most notably to any emotion whatsoever. Is it possible to experience any passing joy without grabbing a hold of it? Like the greatest possible novelist or poet, can you be open to the totality of temporal phenomenal experience without, in this case, getting even remotely wrapped up in any of it? Can you be like the valley that welcomes all that flow into your low-lyingness? Or can you be like the mountain that welcomes all newcomers to the summit? Can each and every emotion be your guest? In a meditation like this, there can be a tendency for the mind to wander off. Therefore, some amount of concentration is necessary to remain in this wide open spaciousness. This means that desire too, whenever it arises, the desire to get up, to sit down, the desire for something discomforting to be over, may also be welcomed. At the same time, that there remains no involvement in it at all. Let all desires or cravings simply rise and fall, just as every thought we observed rose and fell. Be infinitely open. Gentle bow. The four yearnings of Tibetan Buddhism. May all beings benefit from this practice today. May all beings be free from enmity. May all beings benefit, or rather be free from affliction. May all beings be free from anxiety. May all beings be happy and well. Gentle bow.